Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that. We've got the World or Universe card, as it's called, in the Thoth deck. The World, I feel like that's a really good card to get. I feel like you do have a specific question on your mind. You know, I feel like you're here today because there is really something that you want to know. The answer is yes, get ready. Okay, we're going to put this into some context. I feel like there is a world opening up to you, and I feel like it's something that you've been wanting for a long time. I feel like it's kind of happening more suddenly than you anticipated. Yeah, see, I think we kind of felt like we had more time to prepare for this, but I feel like it's something that, no, you're going to have to kind of start doing it now. I don't know if it's a promotion or if you were planning on taking over something, but the timeline was a lot different, because I feel like you kind of a little bit more relaxed about it. But then I feel like it's kind of creeping up on you. Yeah, see, there's the Eight of Wands in the position of the environment. I feel like it's happening a lot more quickly. Okay, the Hierophant at the end, the Hierophant's really reassuring to me. I think this is really nice. I think this is a good spread of cards. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is going to be a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. And we're just going to set it down over here. We're going to put Mr. Ed right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. And, you know, it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during the show you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments, okay? Let's do it together. Let's make it a group exercise of intuition, all right? Let's take a look around the room again. We've got major, major, and major. 3 major arcana cards. And I think that's really, really good. This is kind of now with the universe card, things are opening, boundaries are being lifted, restrictions are being eased. I feel like you're stepping into this infinite world. You kind of have to trust that the timing is right. You have to trust that you know what you're doing. You have to trust that you are going to really do a fantastic job with this. And then at the end here, we've got that fixed earth energy, the Hierophant card. And that tells me that you're really going to become a master of this thing, that you're going to excel at this in such a way that it's like, now you're kind of showing others how to do it, right? We've got fire energy. We sure do. We got a lot of fire, actually. We've got these 3 fires. We've got the 8, 9, and 10 of Wands. And that's interesting because that's kind of the last expression. It's the last effort of the fire card. So to me, this says that, yes, this was your intention all along. This was something that you were always aspiring to. And now it's kind of, we thought that we could kind of coast along and wait, and we still had some time. But then 8, 9, 10. It just suddenly, the last kind of final few feet of this thing, or meters, get accomplished, right? Get traversed. And it's suddenly we find ourselves in this situation. We thought we had a lot more time. But that's all right. You can handle it, right? You can do it. We've got a little bit of water energy. I think the water energy that we have is very nice. I feel like the water energy is sort of balanced. I was going to say it's balanced, but we don't have any swords cards here. So it's kind of one of those things where we have to keep the fire balancing the water energy a little bit. Okay, and we'll get to why in a few minutes, but then we've got our earth energies here, here, and also the Hierophant is earth, and also the world or the universe, is earth. It is manifested reality. So starting with the world card, or universe card, this, like I said, is you're stepping into a whole new world. I think this is something that you knew was coming, eventually would be yours, or you would have to take over something, or you would step into that position, or you would take ownership of something, but you thought you had more time. Sometimes the universe card says, we've got all the time in the world. Not always. Sometimes we think we do, and then we get caught off guard by something that starts happening a lot more quickly. And we don't see the swords cards here, so I feel like there's not a lot of time for you to redo the math or figure out the new budget or the new business plan or the new game plan. There's not a lot of time for you to sit down with a sheet of paper and plan something new. Kind of have to go with the flow and make your adjustments on the fly, as they say. But I think this is a very, very wonderful experience, and maybe this is part of the plan, right, with Spirit. Because maybe Spirit wants us to get kind of easy and relaxed and to think we have more time, and then just hit us with something, see what we do, see how we react. And I think you're reacting in a very mature way, a very responsible way, very productive way, very confident way. Yeah. And that's really that 9 of Wands here in the center. That's confidence, that's resolve, that's commitment. Do you have a whiteboard in your house? Or maybe it's a chalkboard. No, it's a whiteboard with those erasable markers. I feel like Spirit's showing me one of those with just a lot of symbols and lines and all this kind of stuff on it. I wonder if that is kind of you now scrambling to figure out how to adapt to the accelerated timeline here. Okay, Spirit showed me that whiteboard. I don't know if you've got a whiteboard, or if that's something that kind of if that's ringing any bells for you. But the 9 of Wands, very strong card. And it's strong because of that lunar connection. Okay, there's the moon down there, sun and moon conjoined. External, internal, above and below. Solar, lunar. Left brain, right brain, the spirit and the body, right? It is the balance of those things, conscious, unconscious, right? It is that lunar connection, which to me is that kind of certainty. It provides us a connection with our deepest drives and our purpose and our intuition and our instinct, which, incidentally, is also emphasized by the high priestess down beneath everything. So if we look here, we have the sun connected with the moon. Well, the high priestess is the moon. It's the full moon. And it really is, I think, these two cards together are showing that you understand while you are being kind of caught off guard here. You understand and you trust in the process. You trust in how the events are unfolding because you have a deep spiritual connection. I think you have I think you're very in tune with your psychic ability. Yeah. And I feel like that does give you strength to be confident where other people might kind of shake in their boots a little bit. I feel like you have that kind of grace to you almost, right? It's that kind of blessing or that spiritual energy that you really do feel attached to. Now, I wonder if you if you come from a family of very gifted people. Now, I think we are all gifted. I think we all have psychic abilities. Some of us are born with that frequency already tuned in. Others of us have to work on it. We have to adjust the radio a little bit. We have to practice. We have to refine. We have to train ourselves. I wonder if you kind of have a natural ability for that. It seems to me like you have I think you have always had a very strong connection with spirit. I think that you probably do a lot of divination work on your own. I think a lot of tarot reading, tea leaf readings. By the way, my wife does tea leaf readings. She has a channel on YouTube. It's Ula Tea Leaf Readings. I feel like you do things like that, maybe geomancy, pendulum, things like that. And I feel like that, the joke goes, well, then you should have seen this coming, right? If you're so psychic, how come you didn't know? That's not really what psychic powers are. We're not predicting the future. We're not trying to, excuse my voice here today. We're not trying to foretell the events as they're unfolding, right? I feel like this is more a snapshot of reality, and we can tune into the message of Spirit. And yes, a lot of the time that involves something in the future that we need to plan for, prepare for, be ready for. But I don't think divination, tarot readings, tea leaf readings are a prediction of events to come. Okay? That could be part of it, but that's not the whole of it. Anyway. So we do have that very strong connection. Now, Spirit's telling me to mention the car. Do the car. What is the car? Does it need fixing? Does it need cleaning? I don't know if there's something like do the car. Okay. I don't know if it's something you've been putting off, or if that is just kind of an inside joke. I don't know what that's really about yet. But up above everything, looking at that 7 of Pentacles, I wonder if this is is some of that struggle to figure out what exactly is going to be required of you in this new role, this new position, this new ownership. Again, I don't know exactly what it is that you're doing, but I feel like you thought you had more time, and now, by the looks of it, it's going to happen very quickly. And I think this card is saying that you aren't really prepared, that you're not exactly ready for it. Again, because you thought you had more time. So we might be having doubts about our own abilities here. We might be saying, well, gosh, I didn't read the book all the way through yet. I didn't study the manual, or I didn't finish the courses, the online courses or something. I didn't finish the whiteboard equations or whatever that is. So I feel like there's a little bit of doubt in our own abilities, but again, it's something where you're just going to have to learn on the fly. We've got all this confidence, we've got this spiritual connection. We need to use that as a little bit of trust in ourselves. Yeah. And I also think that you're not quite sure where you're supposed to go with this thing. Like, I don't know if we've really thought that far ahead, because I see that we're starting to do that now. And it could be that you're taking over something that is not pristine. Let's just say that. It's not at its kind of optimal level, right? Maybe it is. Maybe it's that car, right? Taking something that kind of is going to need some work. Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's you're being put in charge of something, and you're kind of now expected to fix it, to solve it, to make it profitable again, right? Something like that. So when we see the Knight of Pentacles, we think, okay, now we've dealt with everything going on now. Now we get to look at the future. Now we get to say, okay, where does this thing have to go for a couple of, a month, 5 years, 10 years? What is the future prospect here? The Knight of Pentacles is always the card that has the spiritual vision, can see the future. And maybe you're thinking of this, and this behind the Knight of Pentacles is thinking, the future doesn't look all that great. As it stands now, because things are in a kind of a 7 of Pentacles condition, if nothing changes, it's going to be the same or worse in a year, a month, whatever it is, a week. Whatever the timeline is here. So something needs to be done in order to improve this picture. Yeah. So I do feel like something needs repair. Something needs to be built back up again. Something needs to be refurbished, retrofitted, any of these kinds of things to get it back to its kind of optimal functioning. Yeah. It could be, could be talking about relationships, whatever it might be. I feel like you're kind of being given the keys and saying, here, you deal with it. Yeah. And I think that's okay with you. The Six of Cups here in the background. I think this is okay with you because you are, this is something that you're excited about. This is something that you have a deep connection with. So it could be this job. It could be a relationship. It could be the leader. I don't know what you're doing. Something with the community or with church, temple, lodge, something. But you have a connection with it already. And I think you care about this thing in some way. So you want it to heal. You want it to get fixed and refurbished and built back up to restore to its former glory and then some. Yeah. Because the six here, this is kind of showing us being in harmony with the process of change. And I think that you're rather happy to be part of it, you know, that it makes you feel good that you get to get your hands dirty and help to fix this thing. I think you're being put in charge of it, which is a heavy responsibility, but I think deep down it feels good that you get to do this. Yeah. Let's go to the path of the serpent now, and we've got to deal with some fire over here. As we do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Yeah, and it really helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Okay. The Ten of Wands here. I feel like you've been a little bit cranky lately. Yeah, is that? I don't know why or what's going on. Beyond this situation that might be kind of adding to some frustration. I don't know if there's something to do with a friendship that is kind of on shaky ground. I feel like you kind of have this best friend, like partner in crime, could be a spouse or significant other, but it's got this best friend energy. But I feel like there's some uncertainty there. And I feel like that's kind of making you feel a little bit on edge or a little bit temperamental, a little bit cranky. Yeah. The Ten of Wands, I think, is sometimes it's an overwhelmed feeling. Okay? Sometimes it's an overwhelmed feeling. We could also be, I think maybe with this overwhelmed feeling, I'm getting like the muscle aches and pains. I'm getting like just this kind of tired feeling. Yeah. And I wonder if this is kind of like, I think part of the reason why this is kind of a smack in the face that it's happening so quickly, because it just feels like not in my own optimal kind of physical, vital energy right now. Yeah. So I think there are like some other things going on in your life that is causing stress and tension. It's causing that kind of muscle aches. It's causing the fatigue and you know, tiredness. I don't know that you feel like you're at 100% energy level right now. So when we have this situation, it's kind of like we got to dig deep and we've got to pull out this Nine of Wands and just say, all right, well, you know, here it goes. I don't have much of a choice here. And this could be why we were hoping things would. They said 6 months. Well, I wish it could be 6 months. It feels more like 1 or 2 months at the most. So it's happening a lot quicker. It's been accelerated, this timeline. So I feel like there's a lot for you to do to prepare yourself, like physically and energetically, to begin this work, right? And I think right at the beginning, it's going to be the most difficult right at the beginning, right? I like looking at the Ten of Wands as the base of the mountain, where it's just like, that's the hardest part, right? It's just getting up the first really steep inclines and really getting yourself going, finding your pace, finding your groove. The higher we get up the mountain, we start to get 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. It gets narrower and narrower and narrower, which is a little bit more risky, but it's also easier, right? It's easier to stay on course. There's nothing else really around us. It's just, that's it. But down at the base, there's a lot more things that can go wrong. There's a lot more wrong turns, a lot more obstacles, a lot more choices. It feels like a heavier burden when we first get started. So I think as soon as you take the keys for this thing, it's going to feel as overwhelming as it ever will. And it's going to feel heavy. And it's going to feel like you have to carry this burden yourself. I kind of almost am getting that back pain, feeling kind of hunched over because there's just so much weight. Yeah. But the 9 of Wands, of course, tells us to stand tall, that we can do it. And if we trust in things and we have our vision and we realize our 6 of Cups, that this is where we want to be, this is what we care about, we'll fight through this initial difficulty and things will get easier and easier. Yeah. Between now and then, focus on your physical vitality and focus on that best friend thing, that friendship that's a little uncertain. Because I feel like if you can wrap that thing up or get some resolution there, you'll feel a lot better and you'll be able to kind of focus on this project a little bit more. Yeah. A 8 of Wands in the position of the environment. Things are happening a lot quicker. This is really, I think, the timeline speeding up. I think that this is, this is the 4 to 8 week kind of timeline, I think now, where maybe it was supposed to be like a year, 6 months or a year out. I think it's happening a lot more quickly. And I do feel like you've got, a lot of plans for this. Like you've had a lot of ideas, and this might be where we're kind of looking at the whiteboard too, because I kind of feel like it's, what are those things called? Like the mind map, right? Have you done the mind map on this? I kind of feel like that with the 8 of Wands, that there's a lot of mind mapping going on, and it's just, there's no clear path. There's no straight and easy path yet. And there isn't going to be, because the timeline's been accelerated. So it's kind of like you have to just kind of adapt and course correct, make your adjustments, make your revisions, keep mapping it out as you go, right? And we're not going to have time to completely finish our planning stage. Mind maps, though, yeah, mind maps are awesome. And I think that you're going to keep doing those. And I think you're going to have, maybe that's the whiteboard. Maybe we just have to really erase and do a new one. Like every day, every couple of days, there's going to be something new that you have to adapt to, something that you have to figure out. You're going to have to get the textbook out, get the manual, watch the YouTube video, figure out what you're doing every step of the way. So you're kind of learning as you go. And sometimes learning by doing is the best way, right? So there's only so much you can do to prepare now. Like, prepare yourself for being unprepared. The obstacle that we see, interestingly, is the fish in the percolator, the Princess of Cups. And the Princess of Cups really is that kind of, it's the imagination. It is us trying to find signs and symbols and synchronicities in the world around us to help guide us forward. And it's almost like with all this fire energy, it seems like we need to reconnect with this divine energy. So the obstacle, I think, is for you to still invoke your creative energy, still be able to, and maybe this, again, if we had a lot more time, then we had time to just daydream and imagine and be inspired and let the images come to us. in kind of just a more natural, flowing way. But now, boom, fire energy. Nope, we got to go right now, right? And so in this fast-paced kind of energy now, it feels like it's starting to get a little bit anxious. There's not a lot of time for just daydreaming and imagining and active imagination. And I really feel like that's part of your creative process. And we need that. We need time to sit and meditate and connect with Spirit and allow the images to come in, allow the inspiration to take hold of us. And that's when we have those ideas about how to move forward. So the obstacle here is for you to find the time to still invoke that creative imagination, but yet also adapt to the fast-paced kind of situation that we're in now. Yeah. The alternative, though, is that we get a little bit too washed away with all of this watery, lunar, internal energies. And we really get kind of caught off guard by the fire energy, right? So I think it's this, because even the high priestess, it's a watery kind of energy, right? It's more of a yin energy, like the cups, like the princess of cups in the six. So I feel like this is really balancing out with the fire energy, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we don't want either one to be, we don't want to be so overwhelmed by the rush of this, by the anxiety, that we lose all of the water connections, right? And there were 3 kind of distinct types of water connections. But we don't want to get so immersed in these water connections that we lose the ability to stand up tall and adapt and go with the flow and roll with the punches, and keep up with the pace. So it is a balancing act that you're going to have to perform here. But the last card, the Hierophant. I think this is you mastering this thing. I feel like this is you becoming the authority of this, whatever this thing is. All of this on-the-job training really creates a master, really creates someone who is an adept at this thing. And I think others will then be coming to you for inspiration, for ideas, for help, for advice. Yeah. I see this really like you're really reaching a higher level of authority here in this thing. And I don't know what this is. Business. Kind of feels like a career thing. But there's the really strong kind of emotional connection here. So it is something that's very meaningful to you. And I think this is a really good outcome. And I think this is going to make you feel very satisfied at the end of this, that you went through all of this. And it really did something to you. There's this maturity here. There is this sense of wisdom. You're being tossed in the fire here, and you're coming out a refined, adept, spiritual being. And to me, this feels really, really good. There's a certain pride that's attached to this one. So I think this is a very positive outcome here. Very positive outcome. And we could even look at this card as like the kind of owning all of this energy. If this is a business, a career thing, you're owning it. And you are the master of it. And I think that's going to be a big inspiration to others around you. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. Thank you, Mr. Ed. Okay. Well, we've got the World card. Maybe we need, or the Universe card. Maybe we need the World card. Maybe we need the Empress. What I would like to see is something other than the 7 of Pentacles. So a 9 or a 10 of Pentacles. Yeah. A 3 of Pentacles would be okay, but I think I want to see some Earth energy. Pentacles, right? Minor Arcana Earth energy. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. Let's see what we have. Oh yeah, 9 of Pentacles. Beautiful, beautiful. This is now the 7. Now, we have the confidence that this is something that it needs a lot of work now. And we're able to do it. And it becomes so much greater now that we really are able to restore this thing. Maybe it is a car, right? And maybe you're able to restore this car to beyond its original beauty, right? And now it's just kind of like you've accomplished this thing. You've rebuilt this thing, and it looks amazing. It functions amazing. If this is a business that's failing, well, it's not failing anymore, right? This is you living your best life. And this is kind of like you've earned this, right? So, I mean, this figure looks like they're just kind of flaunting it a little bit. They're just kind of, making a display, a little bit of arrogance here. That's all right. You've earned that, right? You've earned that. You've done the work here. That you've earned the ability, you've earned the right to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And even this card shows that little snail at the bottom saying, slow down, enjoy it. You earned this. You built this. Okay. This is you living your best life. Nothing else really needs to be said. But we are going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around for that, click on the link that should be in the corner. If not, there's one down below in the video description. New readings for Aries, Monday and Friday. 6 a.m. Chicago time, but I'm here every day. Just come on back, see me tomorrow, all right? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.